Hello and welcome to this tutorial. Today we're going to turn a small colonial knob. A colonial knob is a traditional design. There's a number of variations. The one we're going to do is one of the most basic, and we're going to use an old curtain rail as our stock material. It's already cylindrical in size, which saves a step or two, and it also makes good use of some unneeded timber. So the way that I like to do it is to secure it in a scroll chuck to see that it is running true before we get started, to provide myself with enough timber to do the knob and a short spigot at the end that will be glued into the project, into the drawer or whatever that happens to be. Now for this job today I'm going to use 4 different turning tools. In total I'm going to use a detail gouge for most of the shaping. I'm going to use a scraper, a roughing gouge, and also a parting tool. So with the roughing gouge to start with, just see that we've taken it down to a cylinder, and I'm going to, for convenience sake, just keep my measurements fairly basic. So I'm making it 1 inch long with a little bit of waste at the end, and what I do first is just establish where the end of the knob is going to be, and to start the spigot section. I don't take it right down immediately, and you'll notice I'm quite close to the jaws of the chuck. You need to be careful not to get too close. Now because it's 1 inch and I have a 1/4 inch parting tool, I like to not mark out too much, but to, by sight, try to use the width of the parting tool as a guide to mark out some different sections. So you sort of see there that I have a 1/4 inch section and a couple more 1/4 inch sections for what's going to be the hollow. Now I go to the detail gouge for a very gentle roll over, which will hopefully arrive right at the base where our deepest point is. I like to do a little bit of a back bevel. Most knobs, you'll notice, do have that back bevel, and that stops it actually chipping off quite as much when it's in use. With the detail gouge, it is possible to use it to cut right across the grain, and so you'll notice the angle of the detail gouge, that it's completely over on its side. The detail gouge has the advantage over a scraper that it cuts very cleanly, but you need to be careful. I am going to use a scraper in a little while to do the hollow. Better turners would probably do this all just with this detail gouge to hollow out, but I find, particularly if I'm doing a lot and want to do them quickly, that having a scraper, a rounded scraper, will help me to have some consistency with those hollows. Now at the very high point, the end, we're creating a mushroom shape, and we again want to make sure that we are cutting a clean surface that needs the bare minimum of sanding at the end. So here now you'll see the use for the scraper is just to get some consistency with that hollow. I've noticed that hollows vary in shape and depth quite a bit. And finally, with a little bit of cloth sandpaper, the thing to do when using the sandpaper is to try very hard not to spoil the shape that you've made, especially around a little step. So you try to cut your steps as cleanly as you can to do the bare minimum sanding there, along the way. And finally, for our job, we simply part that off. You can do that while it's still running. You could saw it off if you wish, but once again I've got the parting tool happening here. And that's the end of our project with a bare minimum of sanding. Thanks for watching.